I'm going to press the button. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is a exciting, momentous occasion right here. We have crew from Arizona joining us, crew Inland Empire in California, virtually to do a yoga session and also to kind of somewhat mingle virtually. So thank you, Heather Fox, for guiding us today. Before we start the program, I wanted to just introduce the two presidents of each chapter so we can just say hi really quickly to one another. From our chapter, Crew Inland Empire, we have Miss Norette Walls. If you want to just wave your hand and say hi to everyone. And then over to Terry with Crew Arizona. If you want to wave hi so everyone knows who you are. Great. All right. With that being said, if everyone can just check their microphones, make sure it's red and on mute so we don't have any background noise coming in. And if you have any questions during the session, you can type it into the chat. And I know Heather has a wonderful program planned and she's going to make it as interactive as possible. So thank you all for joining us today. And I'm going to let Heather take it away.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Heather Fox. I'm a member of AZCREW, and I work at CBRE as a senior transaction manager. But I'm kind of taking that hat off today, and I left it outside. So I'm going to put my therapeutic yoga hat on, and I have a kind of almost like a yoga workshop planned for us. I don't think anybody on this call has had the experience of coming to one of my yoga classes or one of my workshops, but I handle things pretty informally, and I also, it may not be exactly G-rated. I'll try to keep it, kind of simple, but, sometimes we have a little bit of fun. So with that said, I'm going to give my undivided attention to you for the next 60 or so minutes, and I'd ask that you do the same. I'd ask you to give your undivided attention to yourself, really. I think that's what this is about. So all the deadlines that we have, all the to-do lists that we have, all of the homeschool and house chores and all the shit that we have, if we can leave it at the door, I guarantee you it will be there on the way out if you decide to pick it back up. So I do have an ask, if it's possible for you to get a piece of paper and a pen, let's grab that. Also, your phone will work fine. I just want you to be able to write some things down as we go through this process today. Yeah, take your time. We're going to have a couple minutes here. So while everybody's getting their little paper and pen, you can write today's date, Wellness Wednesday, whatever on the top that will remind you of this experience. So I have some resources up on the screen, and these slides will be available to all of us afterwards. Pam can send them out. We'll put them up on respective websites, whatever you want. I've kind of picked and chose some things from a couple workshops I've done. So I'll just get started by saying I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a mental health clinician. I have extensive training in therapeutic work, trauma work, PTSD, yoga therapy, and those kinds of things. So hopefully some of the stuff we go through today is beneficial for you. But no matter what, only do what's comfortable for you. And everything I bring up is really just a suggestion and an offering, and it's not a requirement. So this is not going to be a traditional yoga class. Like, it's not going to be like you go to the yoga studio for the 60-minute vinyasa, and that's great, but we're not going to do that today. We are going to take a little bit different of an approach, like I said, almost a workshop-like. We'll start with the Yoga Nidra, which is yogic sleep. It's a guided meditation that should be very relaxing, with some Mudra, which is like yoga with your hands. And I'm bringing up some of these things because you probably haven't been exposed to them in your traditional yoga classes, but they're things that you can easily do with your family and your children. Kids love the mudras, and I have a book on them. I'm happy to go into detail, but the mudras are really helpful and beneficial. So now we do have some rules, and I know Terry Martin Denning is laughing in her living room right now because she knows how much I love rules. And the rules really are simple this time. First rule, no judgment, and that's mostly judgment of self. Please don't judge yourself, any feelings, any thoughts, any weird stuff that comes up. Just like acknowledge it, let it go, and also we don't judge each other. And that's something that crew is really great at anyway, so this is definitely a safe space. So we're going to do what feels good. And to start, we'll start with this Yoga Nidra with a Mudra. So first and foremost, find a place where you're comfortable. You don't have to be seated on the floor as I am. You can be seated in a chair. You can be seated on the couch. You could be seated in your car. You could be lying down. I would say standing up is probably the only one I wouldn't recommend unless it was the only way you felt comfortable. So give yourself a minute. I'm going to get seated. When I sit on the ground, I like to have a cushion under my under the rear of my my butt, essentially, to lift up my hips a little bit. You could do that by folding a towel, sitting on a pillow, or just sitting on the ground. Doesn't matter. So I will. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go over these resources. Do Yoga With Me is a great website, okay? It has a bunch of free yoga classes on there. You can also get a subscription, but it's not necessary to get most of the classes. They range in lengths from 5 minutes to 90 minutes, I think. I don't make money off of anybody that goes there and signs up. I'm not affiliated with it. It's just an option if you want to start or continue your yoga practice while we're at home. NAMI is a great website for any mental health questions, resources, learning about stress, anxiety, PTSD, all the things that whether or not we acknowledge we're experiencing them, we are collectively experiencing all of those things as a human race right now. That's my belief. And I think we've seen that in our interactions and in our day-to-day life. So if you're interested in meditation, I would say YouTube is fantastic. There's some really great ones. There's some really terrible ones. So just find what you like, save it, bookmark it, and go from there. There are also a million apps for meditation that you can download onto your smartphone. Calm and Breathe are kind of the big ones. They have free trials, but I would just say try everything and find what you like that works for you. So, crisis support line for our respective counties. And I do like this text line. I've actually put that number in my nieces and nephews' phones. And I think I said like text if you need help. And then it's just there for them. And I think that's easy sometimes for kids or people to have. And those are obviously safe, non-judgmental places for anyone that's stressed out or needs some help in a crisis. So we'll move on to our meditation. This is a mudra that I really like. It's called Hridaya Mudra. Don't worry about pronouncing Sanskrit because I probably screwed it up too. Yoga teachers don't speak Sanskrit, at least most of them don't. So Hridaya basically means heart, and this is the gesture of the spiritual heart seeking divine refuge. And I came across that this weekend and I thought, oh man, that sounds pretty darn good for these times. So I'll demonstrate this mudra, kind of talk us through it, and then we'll get started with our meditation. So pretty easy. You want to take your right hand and make like the Queen's wave, right? So your hand is a little bit cupped. It's not flat. Fingers are together, nice and soft. And we're just going to place that over the center of our heart really gently. It's not pressed in. It's just a little cup with a little space of air in between your hand and your chest. And then our left hand just rests on top of the right. Now, from here, I'll invite you to gently tuck your chin towards your chest, and the gaze will fall to the earth in front of you. If you're comfortable shutting your eyes or fluttering them closed, you can, but if it doesn't feel good, skip it. No big deal. I will keep my eyes open this entire time, and this will be a safe space. So just sit and feel the gesture of the spiritual heart seeking divine refuge. And you know, I'm just going to kind of acknowledge the obvious right now that things feel out of control. Maybe not always, but at least once a day, I'm finding myself saying everything is out of control. And what a better time for us to seek this place of refuge, and whatever that looks like for each of us. So take a moment to notice your breath. Maybe soften and even your breath. Nice, long, relaxing inhales and exhales. Never forcing or coercing the breath, just inviting it to be long and soft. Feeling your shoulders sink back and down comfortably. Noticing if your teeth are clenched, maybe releasing the clench in your jaw, softening the mouth, the tongue. the eyes. Feeling your hands rest softly against your chest. Feeling your feet rest softly against the earth. Feeling supported. Coming back to your breath. Noticing the breath at the center of your chest. Feeling that breath guide you inward to this place of sacred refuge. Knowing that this place is here to support and guide you whenever you need it. So right here, right now, take a big, deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth like you're blowing out a candle. And acknowledge the challenges that we all face together. And again, maybe finding another deep breath on your own time, at your own speed. Quickly and easily scanning the physical body with your mind, noticing inevitably that tension has crept in to the various nooks and crannies of the body and the mind. Being okay with it, but maybe inviting it to soften or release its grip. Our breath right now is creating a space around these feelings. Our slow and steady breath, creating a safe space around these feelings. Feeling the physical rise and fall of your chest. Feeling the symmetry of your breath. Feeling and finding space that you didn't know existed before. Space for some compassion, perhaps, for yourself, your family, all of us. Noticing right now how your body feels. Noticing any areas of heaviness or lightness, darkness, cold, hot, any sensation. Just with a child's curiosity, not assigning judgment or a story, just simply noticing. And envisioning any heavy, dark, less comfortable areas lightening and filling with ease and softness. Now from this place of softness, it's almost effortless to find that safe refuge in your heart. Stepping into greater clarity and greater understanding. Expanding your capacity for compassion and acceptance. Taking a deep breath in through your nose, and again, exhaling through your lips. Yeah, perfect. Take a moment to feel how good this feels and know that you deserve it. Allowing every cell in your body the chance to soak up this feeling. Being present with the clarity and understanding found in this special, sacred place of refuge. Feeling safe and fully supported. And we'll stay in this beautiful place for a few breaths at your own speed, on your own time, and taking any adjustment you need to find comfort again. Feeling safe and fully supported. We get to stay here as long as we need. We get to stay here as long as needed to hear whatever it is that we need to hear. Remembering that you are loved, you are loved, and you really are perfect. Resting in this place, feeling delightfully heavy with peace and serenity. Trusting and knowing that you can always come back to this space. It's available for you at any time. trusting and knowing that even when things might feel completely out of control, I am safe and fully supported. Now I'll ask that you repeat that 3 times out loud or to yourself or in your mind with me. I am safe and fully supported. I am safe and fully supported. I am safe and fully supported. If you'd like to release your mudra, you can, allowing your hands to be soft, or hold on to it if it feels right. We'll take our time very slowly coming back, taking a few deep breaths, maybe finding a little movement in your fingers or your toes or your neck. Eyes can still be closed or open or soft, whatever it is. We're going to move in slow motion, coming back, like a snake shedding its skin, revealing this new and improved version of our perfection. So slowly focus on your breath. Feel the inhalation and the exhalation. Allow yourself to come into your surroundings in the room. And if your eyes are not already open, you may invite them to open. And I'll, again, invite you to find 3 objects in the room that you see and just identify them. Doesn't matter what they are. Let's take 3 cleansing breaths together. So that's the in through the nose and out through the mouth like a candle. And we'll take full deep breaths in through the nose, out through the lips. 2 more times on your own schedule. Lengthening the exhale as much as comfortable for the last time. And when you feel up to it, I'll invite you to find that piece of paper and write down whatever it is that you want to write down. This is not homework. This is for you. Maybe a thought, maybe a color, maybe a feeling, maybe a sound, maybe a scent, maybe a word or a phrase or a feeling or anything that it is. We'll give a moment for that. And I always think of this as like a little gift to your future self. So you can throw that away, you can shred it, you can put it in a drawer, you can fold it up and put it behind a picture, you could put it in a plant. I don't care what you do with it, just do something with it that feels right. And it will come back to you when you need it. You'll find it. And you'll be like, oh my gosh, remember that day? This is so great. So I'll open it up for reflections, really. I want to invite, if you have anything to say or share, maybe this was super weird, I don't like it, I've never done it, why the heck did we do it? Or like any reflection that you had. I would love for you to invite anything without judgment, to unmute yourself to have discussion on that meditation. The gesture of the spiritual heart seeking divine refuge. Yeah, so for me, I think I do these meditations with the mudra, and then I get a specific feeling, whatever that is to me. And later, if I just come back to that mudra, maybe, and I don't have to go through the whole meditation, I use it as a tool to kind of drop into that space. So nobody's flying really these days, but I'm not a huge fan of flying on airplanes, and I use my mudras sometimes when I fly on airplanes to help just bring me down. Or if I'm in a meeting and like the heat's cranking up and it's getting contentious, there are some, really great mudras that you can do under the table or even really subtly to help. So that's my feedback for mudra. Did somebody have a comment?
I'll share with you guys. I just felt calm, overall calm. So everything that's been happening lately in the last month and a half, it's just a nice release to feel that there is some type of level playing field to keep calm. No urgency
Yeah, I
was
think,
felt. Like everything we're worried about, you know, my list of 50 things I need to worry about every day, I could just all of a sudden forget about those 50 for about 5 minutes, and it felt better.
I think that's really, really important and super valid, right? And what I've learned is that my yoga practice doesn't take away time, it makes time, strangely enough. It makes me more focused and productive. And if I can just shut my brain off from the 50 things, the screaming person, the, you know, the voicemail, whatever it is, we do have this divine place inside of us, or whatever you want to call it. You know, we have this, this special, perfect place. We are special and perfect. And sometimes we just need to take time to remember it. And we can always come back to it when we know that it's there. And it doesn't go away, which is great.
That's great.
So if there's any other discussion on that, we'll gladly take it. Did anybody, was this the first time that most people did a real short yoga nidra? Yeah. Okay, cool. Is it something that people would like maybe look up and do again?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. So the next part of our class, we can probably unmute line, Pam. The next part of our class is like going to be pretty interactive. So I have some things I'm happy to show you that are more like little tips and tricks that I use to help de-stress, and I'm happy to start with those. I'd also like to serve the attendees today by offering like a free question and answer session of, hey, my back hurts. Hey, my feet hurt. I have this issue. What can I do? And I would love to kind of ad hoc little yoga poses or stretches that we can all do together to help with specific situations. So I'll open it up. If anybody has anything, great. Let's take it on. I'll tackle it. If not, I'll show you a few things, and then we can just take questions as they come when the brain juices get going.
So Heather, I have one. I don't know if everyone experiences this, but because we are all pretty much chained to our computer right now, or our desk, wherever that might be, the pressure and the tension between the shoulder blades from constantly being in that position all the time and sitting in the chair. And honestly, for me, the other thing is because I'm not wearing high heels all day, every day, my lower back is killing me. So I feel like I need to go clean the house and put some on because then my back doesn't hurt. It sounds funny, but it's the truth.
Yeah, it is. It is, and everybody's experiencing those things as well, or very similar to them. So there are a couple things for the upper back and the shoulders that help at the desk. And I'm actually in my home office right now, so yes, we are all tied to the desk. I mean, it is what it is right now. So I'll demonstrate a couple things that you could do sitting at your desk to stretch out both the front, sides, and back of the chest and the shoulders. First is very easy. I would extend your arms out to the side with your thumbs up. Let me move back so you can see me a little bit better. Thumbs up, okay? And we're simply gonna rotate the thumbs down to the ground like a dislike, okay? And you can even go a little bit further if the range of motion allows, keeping your mouth, don't tighten up your jaw, keep your mouth pretty soft here. And then we'll take it the other way. So we'll rotate the other way, taking the thumbs towards the wall behind us. And you can do this nice and slow 3 or 4 times. You can even get a little bit of a back bend going and a little bit of a forward fold going. My shoulder just cracked. I don't know if you heard that. It felt really nice. So this is a somatic movement that's really safe and really helps kind of get blood flow going and help with all the little ligaments and the tendons that get nasty when we're sitting in the same place all day. So that's a nice somatic movement. Another one that I couple with that a lot is called, I don't like the names of things. This is called wing in a prayer. So we're gonna start like goalpost arms, okay? And on an exhale, we're gonna push our palms and our elbows together. And here we can actually push like kind of tight, okay? And then on an inhale, we're gonna open up and squeeze the shoulder blades together in the back. So this is like you're getting the full range of motion here. Yeah, it feels kind of good. So squeeze and then inhale, coming open, right? And then you can just kind of make it up, right? You could kind of go back and forth between these two things. That is just like a really nice feeling. I can feel the blood flow in my shoulders and arms that has just increased, like fresh oxygenated blood is coming into my neck, shoulders, and arms just from that moment. The other thing that is very beneficial is like an eagle arm. This might not be accessible to everybody, but we'll kind of just start with the arms out on the side. I swing them together, and I put the right underneath of the left, and you're kind of in a V shape. So you can stop here and just kind of give yourself a hug, and maybe roll the neck out from here. You know, tuck the chin from here. This is valid. If you have the ability to, and it feels nice to bring the arms all the way together in front of you, you can take a few deep breaths here, pulling the shoulder blades apart. You can even move the arms up and down. It's going to really work out a lot of the tension in the arm. If you do the right side, let's do the left side for symmetry. And it's not going to feel the same on either side. Yeah. And these are pretty safe. Really know if it doesn't hurt, you're not going to hurt yourself. These are safe things to do. You can hold these poses for as long as you would like, or do them as quickly as you would like. Bringing up, working at the computer, I know I get a sore wrists and hands. I think a lot of people do, writing, typing, being on the phone, a calculator, all that stuff. So a really beneficial stretch. This is from a yin yoga practice. I gotta probably move back a little bit, but I'm happy to do that. So you can do this on literally standing up at your desk. You do not have to be on the floor. And I do this stretch probably 3 to 5 times throughout the day. It goes both ways. So you can start with your hands on your thighs with the pads of the fingers facing down. And you'll simply trace your fingers to the earth. Your fingernail beds will touch the earth, and the backs of your hands will touch the backs of your hands will touch the ground. And you might be like, this is horrible. And it might feel really crappy because the wrists are tight, the shoulders are tight, the whole arm chain is tight. So this is one that we don't want to hold for too long, because this is truly cutting off the blood supply to the hands and the fingertips. It's safe to hold for like 3-4 minutes. But what we're doing is we're squeezing out all the blood. And then when we release the hands here in a few seconds, maybe I'll count to 5 or 10 in my mind. When we release the hands, we'll have you may have an interesting sensation is what I'll say. Okay, so bringing the hands up, back up, shaking them out. They might feel warm or weird or decrepit even. And that's really good for the joints. All of the joints when you have that squeeze and soak. There is some research on this stuff that's like preventative for arthritis or helpful for arthritis, carpal tunnel, those kinds of things. Now we've done one way, let's do the other way. So we'll start with the hands facing up, like you're gonna take a gift from somebody, sliding them down to the earth. Now this time the pads of the fingers will touch the earth and the heel of the hand will touch the earth. So we're going the opposite way. Now this way is a little bit safer to hold for a longer period of time. And you can kind of move forward if it's too much. You can turn the volume down by moving forward. You can turn the volume up by moving back, and you can really turn the volume up by getting into like this downward facing dog, but I wouldn't start there because it can get a little intense. So again, we'll stay here for a few minutes, a few breaths. My forearms are like so tight from gardening this weekend. I just realized. Okay, and then we can release that, shake out your hands, shake out your arms, and then we come back, and that might help with some of those shoulder, arm, hand problems. Yeah. And then lower back, I think lower back is common. I don't know, probably, I'm not really good at gambling, but I think I would probably bet that most people on this call have had some lower back discomfort. And a lot of it is sitting, right? Because that tightens up the hamstrings. So there are a number of things that we can do to lengthen the back of the body, loosen that up, which can loosen up the lower back. And really the most simple thing that you can do is a forward fold. And you can do this at your desk. You stand with your feet shoulder width apart, knees are soft, never locking out your knees. And you're simply going to tuck your chin to your chest very lightly, just basically looking down at the ground. Bend the knees, fold over as much as comfortable. Okay, at some point you're going to be like, ooh, that's enough. My legs are feeling the burn. And that's fine. If you need a little bit more, you can straighten your legs and even bring your hands down to the earth. Yeah. Just forward folding. The legs do not have to be straight and they should not be locked out. It is completely acceptable to do this bent because what we're really working on here is the curvature of the lower spine. Yeah. And you can let your head hang and maybe shake it yes or no, or twirl your hair on the ground, whatever feels good. From here, you might walk your hands to one side, the right side, to add a little twist. You may walk your hands toward the left side to add a little twist. You may walk your hands behind you to add a little additional stretch if it feels good. If it doesn't feel good, skip it. And then when we come up from this, I'll just caution you to move very slowly and kind of roll up one vertebrae at a time to prevent getting anything out of whack. Okay? So that should assist, if done consistently, those kind of folds should assist with the lower back. Another thing is a yogi squat that can be done. I know I'm kind of flying through this, guys, but I'm happy to explain these at any time to anyone. Another thing is a squat, which is really just starting from a standing position with your feet out, maybe 45-degree-ish angle, just comfortable, relaxed. And from here, you just squat down. Whoop, I fell. Squat down. You may not get all the way down. You may be like, this is ridiculous. My heels can't touch. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Just any level of squat that you can get into feels really good on everything from the toes to the ankle, your shin and calf muscles getting that squeeze, your knees are getting that squeeze, your quads, your hip flexors, your glutes, everything is really getting a good work right now. So you can take a conference call like this if it's not a Zoom call. You can also decide that you're just going to get up and take a break and walk. And that doesn't mean you have to stop working. That means maybe you take a phone call at work. Phone call at work while walking around. So to get out of the yogi squat, it's not very graceful. You could just plop back on your booty and straighten out your legs. And then I imagine you're feeling that same feeling we felt in our wrists, right? After we released that stretch, you're probably feeling that in the leg now too, in your leg. So that is my lower back suggestion. I sit on a ball. The other thing you could do, guys, I know people, this was like pretty popular a couple years ago, but I sit on a ball. That's my yoga, that's my chair at work. It's just an exercise ball with like a felt cover over it. And that's been really helpful for me because I move around. I think being still is what really hurts us a lot of times. Okay. I hope that was helpful.
Heather, I have a question.
Anyone else? Yes.
So Pam here, and I often wake up with, I guess it's my right shoulder blade connecting right to where the neck base starts. Now, I don't know if that's all related to what you just showed us earlier, and I wonder if it's my previous injury from playing volleyball a lot, because it was my right hand swinging the balls. So like right now, it's like kind of kinky, and I always just kind of have to like roll my head to let it pop a bit. Any ideas and tips on how to manage that?
Yeah, definitely. So all those arm things we did, for sure. Neck rolls are also really good, just where you really take like your right ear to your right shoulder, and maybe you could even take your right hand and press the left shoulder down to increase that stretch. Ooh, yeah, that feels good. Chin to chest, same thing. Left ear to left shoulder, left hand pressing down right shoulder, same thing. And you can certainly look back and look up and then bring the back of the head toward your shoulder blades. But I really caution people on that. Those little bones are like super tiny microscopic bones in your neck. And if your neck is healthy and it does not hurt you to go back, please do. But if you have had a neck injury or it doesn't feel right, avoid it. I avoid that. But that's just my personal choice. And then Pam, the other thing I will demonstrate, and we would probably do this standing up, but the wall is a really good friend, right? You can just take your fingertips on the wall, walk them up as far as comfortable, and then very slowly move it around. And whenever you get to a spot where it feels sticky or it feels like it can't go anymore, stop there and take a couple breaths. This is one of the most beneficial things to do for chest, shoulder, neck, all of the above, right? So you want to go in a full clock motion, really, really, really slow. And then when you reach 6 o'clock on your clock, your hand's going to have to go the other way, but it's pretty intuitive. So you can do the clock thing really slow both ways, and then also just straight up, like forward stretching, backward stretching, elbow stretching on the wall too. And you can add the neck in. You can add neck movement into it if it feels right. So I'd say give those a shot for a couple days and monitor it and see what's happening. And then the other thing I will tell you is that I had chronic neck pain for like a year, and like I didn't, I was working on it and it was okay, but I just like had this shoulder thing, and I was a swimmer and I had, swimmer shoulder thing, and I got a new pillow and overnight it went away. I don't know if that's the issue. I obviously can't make a call on that, but consider your
Was
pillow.
it a My Pillow?
You know what? It was not. I got my pillow. So now my husband laughs at me. I have like a pillow bar, like 10 pillows, and I switch back and forth from them. I can't. The My Pillow doesn't work for me.
It's not for everybody.
It is not for everybody. No. So any other way I can serve, or any other questions? We have a little over 15 minutes. I've got some things I can share if you don't. Yes, please.
It's Cindy. I have found, and speaking of sleeping, I have these major tennis elbow issues. And I find that when I tuck like this at night, that it is excruciating when I wake up. Do you, I know there's all these other, exercises to do for your elbow and stuff. And I've been trying to wear like a sleeve to try to keep my arms straight if I can. But do you have any other suggestions as like just how to get through that pain? Because it's so bad I can't even pick up a gallon of milk. It's so hard, it's so bad.
Yeah.
And I think it's sleep related.
Tennis elbow, please. Mm-hmm.
I think it's sleep related.
Okay.
I don't think it's anything I'm doing.
Yeah, because I'm just hypothesizing here, but you're probably staying locked in that position in the whole night, or a large part of it. And I don't care if you had tennis elbow or not. If your hands were locked up like this all night, and then when you went to release them, it would feel wretched. Just like, remember we just with our hands, like we left our hands in an unnatural position for 10 seconds and then it felt weird. So I think, Cindy, the upper arm stuff, just stretching out the whole arm chain as much as we did, the hand stuff, it's all related, right? It's all related. Another thing, and this is one of the things I like a lot, I have, this is like a super ball. I think it was like 25 cents out of the machine. You can buy them online. I love this for, I will just try to show you here what I do. I take this little guy and I take my hand and I just like massage out my hand on it. And not that this is your elbow, but I think that you could even do this on your forearm, right? Provide a little traction. And this feels, I'm doing this now and I'm like, ooh, yeah, that feels pretty dang good. And any kind of myofascial release that you can do in that area may help. And Cindy, I bet you even on the top of your arm, you could do that with a tennis ball. Okay.
Yeah. Like on your bicep maybe area, because that's what I feel like.
Yep. On that.
So, yeah.
On the tricep and the bicep. Yep. I think all of that within whatever tolerance feels good. This myofascial stuff can get really, really like 11 out of 10 pretty quickly. But if you can tolerate it, I would recommend it in general for everybody.
Thank you.
It looks like we had some comments in the chat. Let me check those. You need to also open the chest and stretch your back muscles pulling. Yeah, exactly. So it's like all 4 directions, Jesse. You're totally right. Like you have to stretch up, back, right, forward, left, right from the mouth and the type. So all of those, you know, forward, back, in and out, all directions that you want to move are going to be beneficial. Cobra Pose is one of the best poses for back pain. Christina, thanks for bringing that up. And I will, yeah, you can foam roll everywhere, except for over your joints. I'll demonstrate Cobra Pose for us here. So this is one of my favorite therapeutic yoga poses, and they actually have researched, scientific, real research that shows that this is helpful for lower back issues, disc, slip disc, lots of kind of synovial fluid stuff in the lower back. So you just start from lying down, and you'll take your forearms and you'll place them to the earth. And this might be it. You might be like, I feel a lot here on my lower back. I'll invite you to keep your gaze tracking to the earth. I don't want you to crane your head up or down unless it feels good, but let's just start with the basics here. So to increase the stretch, you can pull your elbows in towards your body, or if you have T-Rex arms like me, you might have to come up on your hands into a seal pose. And my fingers are at like a 45-degree angle. And I could sit here for, you know, this is safe to do up to 20, 25 minutes. You know, we don't need to do that right now. It would also be beneficial to do for 30 seconds. So I like to think of the spine as a string of pearls here, and I'm trying to lengthen the space in between the pearls. So I don't want to like squeeze everything together, but you are inherently compressing the spine, but think of lengthening the spine at the same time, softening the glutes and the legs and the toes. And to get out of this, I would just say be careful with your face. You can kind of slowly walk your hands down to forearms and get out of it that way. But just even from doing the Cobra Pose there for a few minutes, you can tell that something's going on in the lower back. So yeah, if you have extenuating lower back issues, or your lower back is feeling tight, Cobra is definitely an addition to add. Okay, I think we have time for at least one more, or I'm happy to pull out a couple things that I like to do also. Okay, awesome. So we have some of these toys here that I started demonstrating for a couple situations. I have a super ball, a tennis ball, and a lacrosse ball. You can also have a golf ball, and these can be used for a variety of things. So this super ball is one of my favorite things. I've got one in my desk drawer. And I do the hand, I do the hand thing on the top of the desk, but I also take and rub it along the big muscles of the side of my jaw, even on my neck, along the forehead, the temples, anywhere that doesn't hurt for me to rub, I rub it. You gotta make sure your hair and your glasses are out of the way. I bet you that your kids probably have one of these laying around, or you can buy them on Amazon. So this is like a great little tool to just release some tension throughout the day. Another tool are these, they're called Acupressure Rings. And they look kind of scary, but they aren't. It's just metal, stretchy metal. You can buy these online for super cheap. I keep one of these in my car and one of these in my desk drawer. And whenever I'm feeling a little bit on edge, I slip it on my fingers and I just rub it back and forth on my fingers. And it's like acupressure points, right? I don't know all the acupressure points, but if you're into that, you can find out what finger is associated with what stress you're feeling and work on that, or just kind of go over each of the fingers. And you can even do it on your toes too if you're adventurous, I'll say. Yeah. Tennis ball is another great thing that many of us have. This can be used for the myofascial release on the arm, like we showed Cindy. One of my favorite things is to do along my lower body. So I'll just find a seat, pop that guy under there, find where it hurts, and kind of just sit there for a couple of minutes. I don't want to say hurts. Find where it's tender. Sit there for a few breaths. You can like increase the volume by bringing the leg up. And this is safe to do anywhere other than along your spine or on a joint. Okay. And you'll notice tension that you did not know you had before in those areas. Final thing is the lacrosse ball. This can also be like a hard dog toy that you have laying around at home that you clean. I have one of these under my desk and I use it on my feet all the time. So I just stand on it, rub my feet across this thing as hard as I can take, as hard as it feels good. And I know if I've worn high heels or I've worn other shoes that are uncomfortable, this really helps with the myofascial release on the feet. And all the myofascial tissue in the body is connected. So if we're releasing the stuff on the feet, it's actually the rest of your body starts to feel it and relax as you go. Another little secret for the feet, if you've got feet problems, is you can put a water bottle, like a plain water bottle that you get out of the vending machine, plastic one, fill it halfway with water, freeze it, and then rub your feet over that. And that's like, you got to be pretty brave to do that, but it does feel pretty good. So those are my tips and tricks. I will open it up if there's any last questions or thoughts before we've got one final surprise at the end. Did you guys enjoy so far? Was it beneficial?
How often do you do like the stretching? Like every hour I try and stretch, right? Not that I do it, but I try to, just because like if you're sitting at your computer and you're working for a long time and you're not moving, right? Then obviously you're continuing to lock up. And so it's just also trying to change that movement throughout the day so that it changes up the muscle memory so that I'm not putting myself into this position where I'm going to constantly be knotted up.
Totally. Sitting is the new smoking. Isn't that what they've been saying for a few years? Movement is good, whatever it is, even if it's switching positions. I don't know why I just thought of this, but eyes are also a muscle, and we're looking at the computer all day and our eyes get really tired, and that affects our brain and our muscles in the head, neck, and shoulders. And a simple solution for that is to look either out a window if you can, or look at something far away. And instead of being focused up close on your computer, focus on maybe the tree across the street, just for like 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can come back to what you're doing. And that's like a stretch for the eyes as well. Okay. So we have a like a little raffle gift that will go to one of the members that were here today, one of the attendees that were here today. And inside this bag is the tennis ball. It's clean and fresh. The super ball, which is clean and fresh. An unused acupressure ring. And some other little yoga stuff and a little notebook. So I will be mailing this out to whomever is the winner, and Pam, you can tell me, you can pick randomly, or we can find a way to do that just to select somebody for this small gift. So I have on the slide here my contact information. If anybody has any follow-up questions, comments, concerns, if you'd like to do something like this again, more focused, I'm willing to volunteer my time for that. And then finally, I'll just leave you with the thought that yoga really is taught and learned in relationships. It's not taught or learned in a yoga studio or on a yoga mat. It's so much more than that. And I'll just invite you to take your yoga with you, even if you don't feel like a yogi. That just means you're a student. And I think we're all students and teachers. So with that said, the student and the teacher in me honors and respects and is so inspired by the student and the teacher in all of you. Namaste.
Wow, thank you so
Pam,
much.
I'll leave it up for you. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much. This was a very wonderful virtual experience, a first time in 2 chapters joining for a yoga session. Thank you for helping us cultivate that love within us, to remind us to love ourselves and to be compassionate to ourselves during this time, and also to spread that love and compassion towards one another, even here virtually, or to our family members or our furry babies, pets, any pets that you may have. And I think this is such a great journey. I'm going to take a quick look here in the chat box just to see if there are any follow-up questions for Heather. I see one. So from Robin, who's our rockstar DJ, aka our director of communications. What's up, Robin? She has a question on, do you have any online classes, Heather? Are you offering any?
You know, I right now do not. I'm not teaching a regular yoga class anywhere. I recently moved to Arizona. I say recently, it's not. It's been 2 years. 2 years ago, I moved to Arizona, and I had not started up anything officially since then. I have some private clients that I work with online that are, you know, people I worked with in the past from my previous hometown. However, I'm willing to set something up if it would be needed. Really, this is just a capacity for me to serve, and this is like my service to the group, and crew is like one of the most important groups to me. So if it's needed, I will gladly offer my services and my expertise.
Wonderful, thanks. And Robin, who is very creative with her ideas, she said, how about we all meet somewhere in the desert between San Diego and Phoenix and do a class, woo-woo. Maybe a retreat when we're able to, you know, to kind of gather in small groups and whatnot. That would be so wonderful to actually try to meet in person.
Definitely. I hope we can do that.
Well, thank you so much, Heather. I believe everyone is in the chat room is saying thank you so much, and we really appreciated you guiding us, taking the time out of your day to help us honor ourselves first and foremost, and also just taking a mini break from the things that we have to kind of go back and do, and to just be present here with you. So thank you again. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And we're going to put this on our YouTube channel, so stay tuned. We're going to send you the link. We're going to do the raffle. I'm going to try to figure out a way to do this. I'm happy to take any ideas. Normally what we do is we'd have like our little clear fishbowl and the names are already in here, and we just kind of pick it out. I can probably do that manually afterwards as well. So if you guys have any ideas, just shoot me an email and we'll go from there, okay? Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.